Welcome to Hancock's VMware Half Hour. And welcome back to another episode of Hancock's VMware Half Hour. Well, today, join me as I'm going to try and migrate my VMware vSphere ESXi VMs to Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager in maybe just a few minutes. Let's see whether or not that I can really pull this off. Anyway, so if you've actually been following the last videos that I've been doing on Hancock's VMware Half Hour, we've explored a few methods of how we can migrate our virtual machines. We've done a video on Promox, and we've done a video on Nutanix AHV, where we could easily I've showed you in those videos as to how we can migrate our virtual machines. Now, I did actually promise that I was going to have a little look at Red Hat. Well, sadly, Veeam Backup and Replication version 12.3 does not support Red Hat OpenShift. So that sadly crosses that one off in the lab. And at the moment, really, to be honest, we've been having so much fun in looking at non-VMware solutions. Yes, I know this is Hancock's VMware Half Hour. But, you know, hypervisors are just as good. So if I swap my Hancock's VMware Half Hour head and put on my consultancy head, at the moment, you know, we are looking at lots of other products, and these include Microsoft Hyper-V, surprise, surprise, Azure Local, obviously Azure in the cloud, obviously AWS are two that come up. But then we're actually looking at on-premise solutions as well, like XCP, like Proxmox, like Nutanix AHV, Red Hat OpenShift, and finally, Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager. Wow. There's a thing. Obviously, of course, Oracle are behind VirtualBox. I'm sure you probably already know that. But once upon a time, like Oracle have been around for donkey's years. And once upon a time, they acquired Sun Microsystems. And around here somewhere, there's a Sun Microsystems mouse mat, and there's also a few Sun Microsystems Spark servers as well hanging around here in the lab. So, Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager. So today in this video, we're going to learn how to migrate VMware vSphere ESXi VMs to Oracle's Linux Virtualization Manager quickly and efficiently, I hope. So I'm just going to log into the administration portal. And the default user ID when you're creating this is admin at overt. And I've got a password for that. And this is really what it looks like under the covers. Webby style interface. So I don't really know why many users struggle with VM migrations due to compatibility issues and downtime and complexity. But anyway, we're going to address these issues in this video, and we've addressed those issues in some of the other videos that we've done in looking at Nutanix AHV and Proxmox. So I'm going to walk you through my step-by-step process of preparing your environment and exporting your VMs and then importing them effectively into Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager. With as little as downtime as possible, like we are using Veeam Backup and Replication version 12.3. So this is reliant upon you having a working backup that you have test restored so that we can actually then restore those virtual machines to effectively new hardware. So let's go. Let me basically just start and get an RDP connection. Hopefully if I hit that button there, yay, there we go. So those familiar with Veeam Backup and Replication, and if you've looked at the last two videos, you will know that the first thing that we've got to do is we've got to add our host, if you like, and in this particular case our Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager host, which of course is, if we're talking in VMware terms, that would be our VMware vCenter server that manages our hosts. So I'm going to click add server. Now, this was the one here that we were going to have a look at, Red Hat virtualization. Well, I'm sorry, but OpenShift isn't supported. So we can't do that one. We'll have to wait for Veeam. In the meantime, if anybody watching this knows why we can't do it with OpenShift, then drop a comment. We'll do a Red Hat OpenShift, but I've tried, and at the moment it doesn't work, and I've done a little bit of Googling around, and it would seem at the moment Veeam have left that one out, and they only actually basically support Red Hat virtualization, not OpenShift. So, Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager. So we're going to add a Linux Virtualization Manager to the inventory. So I'm going to click that button, and again we've got an FQDN for this, as you've already seen. So I'm just going to copy and paste that to our theme server. I'm going to do paste. I'm just going to knock out those HTTPSs. There we go. And my partner was overlooking this video the other day, and she was saying, why on earth, she said, are you looking so close to the screen? And I said, well, because the screens are actually that far away and I'm running 4K, so the writing is very small. Yes, I could change it, but then it's not the native resolution and it looks hack. Okay, so I'm going to click next. Now I'm going to add the credentials. Now the credentials are a bit weird, I must confess. And we'll just pause on this moment for anybody else actually basically doing this. That you have to, when you actually put the credentials in, you have to also basically include your SSO or your key clock, I think it is, or key cloak SSO that we're using at the moment. So therefore it's not just admin at OVIRT, it's admin at OVIRT at internal. That threw me for a couple of minutes or so. So followed by apply. Okay, it's looking at the certificate, so it's actually basically reached out, and I'm going to click OK. I'm going to click continue, and it's going to sit there for a couple of seconds while it tells me it already exists. That's interesting. It doesn't already. Hang on a minute, just have a little look at this. Interestingly, just as I was actually basically fiddling around clicking a few other buttons, I'm going to have a little look at the Red Hat OpenShift again, because I think I may know what my problem is. But anyway, this isn't about Red Hat. This is about Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager. So I'm going to click apply, and I'm going to click continue, and hopefully this time it's not going to turn around and tell me it already exists. No, it doesn't. That was a leftover from previous testing, I think, the other week. Okay, so this is something that we've actually basically seen, which is very familiar. So I'm going to click next. I'm going to click finish, and now it's basically going to ask us if we want to create the KVM backup job requires an overt KVM backup appliance, or a helper appliance, or a worker appliance. We've seen this before. This is how Proxmox functioned, and this was how Nutanix functioned as well. So we're going to say yes. We're going to deploy that. Thank you very much. And I'm going to say deploy a new backup appliance. So I'm going to say next. I'm going to choose the cluster, which is our default cluster, followed by OK. I'm going to pick the storage destination, and I'm going to say data store. It calls them domains. Data store domain. No, sorry, storage domains. Data store is a VMware term. So Oracle calls them domains, storage domains. Name the appliance. So I'm just going to call this Veeam worker. So I know what it is. Max 4 concurrent tasks. Now, our Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager does have a sufficient number of cores, so I don't need to change the number of cores or the memory size. But if you've got a smaller appliance or host, then you can change those accordingly. Followed by OK, followed by next. Credentials, I'm just going to give it them credentials. Now, these are the credentials that were actually effectively given for the appliance, so that we can actually basically log into the appliance and we can have a look at jobs, etc. Like we saw in the last video that we did on the Tanix. I'm going to click next. I'm going to select the network. That's our default network. Our host name, I'm going to change an IP address automatically, DNS servers automatically. I'm going to enable SSH server just for the sake of it. But to be honest, with all these bad actors around at the moment and SSH becoming a target, probably not really a very good idea in a production environment. I'm going to say obtain updates. We have seen that can take a while. And I'm going to click apply. So now I'm just going to have a hit of espresso first today. That's now talking to the Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager APIs and logins. Not that you can see, but I can see in the background here that green things are appearing. And for some strange reason, that just flashed up. I'm not too sure whether or not that you saw that there. That just actually flashed up wanting to do a restart. This is Windows wanting to do a restart. So this is uploading the backup appliance image files, as you can see there. Connecting backup appliance to network, and it's now starting the backup appliance. So if I just have a little look at virtual machines and I do a refresh, I can't see that virtual machine at the moment. Oh, hang on. That's because I've got that filter on. Here we go. So let me just turn this off. Okay, so there you can quite clearly see under my VMs on our Oracle Linux Virtual Manager host, we've got a Veeam worker which is currently powered up. It's not got an IP address yet. It's got not an FQDN yet. But it's powering up at the moment. It's been 18 seconds, and that was created by Cyrus Veeam 10 administrator. So that was the job that we have started here. So there's nothing more really that I can do, and this is a one-time operation. We don't have to do this again. The moment that we've deployed and added our host to our Veeam backup and replication infrastructure, we don't have to do it again. And then at that point, then we are ready to start doing restores or migrations and backups. So at this moment in time, really, other than listening to me, drinking espresso, drinking my soft drink of choice, which is Pepsi Max. Other soft drinks, of course, are available. I'll come back once this is all finished, because this can take about 20 to 30 minutes or so, basically, to spin up and get this appliance all updated. But just finally there, just before I do disappear, let's turn that off. And you can see here now that our appliance, our Veeam worker appliance, I spelt that wrong. That's why I need to get close to the screen, because I've put Veeam Wotka. Anyway, should have been worker. Anyway, so it has an IP address now, 141.245.136.28. It's now up. It's now off because it's obviously being restarted and patched and whatever. But eventually it will start talking back to Veeam backup and replication, and then we will be able to start doing our migrations or doing our restores. So I'll leave you with that, and I'll speed all this up in post, and in the meantime I'll bob off. I've got another video sort of kind of ticking on in the background here. We're doing a VMware vCenter conversion of sorts on a legacy PC. But if that all works, then we'll turn that into a video as well, and I'll upload that one to the tube, and you can have a little look at that one as well. But anyway, that's actually basically squirreling away in the background here. It's got about another 2 hours to run, I think. And in the meantime, we're doing some ESXi 7.03S to, I was going to say T, but it's not STUV. It's V 7.0.3V on a vSAN cluster as well that we've got going on at the same time. So lots of stuff going on at the moment. Anyway, so I'll speed all this up in post, and I'll come back once the worker appliance has been uploaded. So I'll be back shortly. And I'm back. Okay, so I think that probably was about 30 minutes, but anyway, we'll speed all that up in post. Okay, so successfully rescanned the backup appliance, Veeam Worker. Veeam Worker is currently now running on our Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager platform. So I'm going to click Next, and I'm going to click Finish. So we've now basically got our OLVM, and we've got our Veeam Worker, which is currently running. So now we can do exactly the same thing that we did before. So this is the key moment now, really, that I'm going to demonstrate the actual migration process, and you can see how easy and quick that is. So we're going to go back to our backups. I'm going to go back to our disk backups. I'm going to use exactly the same backups that I did before. Now, obviously, these are going to be newer now because obviously production backups here keep on rolling and keep on running incrementals. So I'm going to restore a Histogramma, Danio, Hoplo, Rasbora, and Saltel. So they are a mix of Windows and Linux virtual machines. So I'm going to right click, and this time I'm going to say restore entire VM to overt KVM. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to click next. That's going to I'm going to restore to a new location. Obviously, it's reminding us here that all VM disks will be restored in the QCOW2 format. So it's the default cluster followed by next. Now I'm going to change the domain. The storage domain, it's very confusing, and I'm going to pick data store. That's what I called it, because of course in VMware land we call them data stores. The cluster's default, followed by next, and like I did previously, I'm just going to remove after the dash. It's not required. To be honest with you, really, it's about time that I actually renamed these in the inventory. In VMware vSphere, really, but I've not done that. Followed by next. Target network is okay. A default cluster is okay. Followed by next. Restore reason. First, restore to Oracle. Followed by next. I'm not going to power them on after migrating. I'm going to do that later. Followed by finish. And hopefully after clicking that, we should start to see eventually a job running under here somewhere. And and that's actually going to start. Okay, I can actually basically start seeing in the web console VMs are appearing and being created. Yeah, I saw this before. I saw this before, that I'm not too sure whether or not that it uses a lot of CPU resources, the Veeam backup replication, but I did actually basically see that the console didn't refresh. So just there we go. Look, yeah, just as I was saying that, it seems to pause. But anyway, so we can now actually basically see that we've actually basically got 4 restores running: Epistogramma, Danio, Hotflow, Sawtell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's what they look like. Restoring disk 1 of 1, Epistogramma. Danio restoring. It's okay. That's restoring. That's restoring, and I think we'll find that Sawtell's paused. Yeah, because of course we can only do 4 concurrent jobs based on the Veeam worker size. So when those first 4 jobs are completed, then Sawtell basically will kick into action and start restoring as well. So as I mentioned before, if you watch the last couple of videos that we did using Veeam backup replication, you know that I actually basically turned around and said that there wasn't any dialogue at all that was shown in this process. When I say dialogue, I mean percentage to 45% finished, completed, etc. There's not really any feedback occurring at all here. Okay, let me just log back in to our Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager console, and let's have a little look at the VMs, and I'll just turn that off. Okay, so you can see there already Epistogramma, Danio, Hotflow, Rasbora have been created, and they are being restored. So let's just go back to our Veeam backup replication console and have a look at Epistogramma. So really, all there is for me to do at this point is just pause, and we'll come back when all these restorations are finished, and we'll power up the virtual machines on our Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager, and we'll conclude and summarize. So whilst that's happening, I'm going to go off and I'm going to drink my Pepsi Max, and I will come back shortly. So just wanted to jump back in here. Okay, so those restores are really fast. The fact that we've done 1, 2, 3, 4 concurrent restores, and they've all finished. Wow. Okay, so Epistogramma has been restored, and just as I've come back here, I've just noticed that Sawtell's been restored as well. So Epistogramma restored, Danio restored, Hotflow restored and finished, Rasbora restored and finished, Sawtell restored and finished. So let me switch to the Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager web GUI. So let's have a little look at the... Tell you what we'll do. I wonder if I can switch in this console. Nope. Wrong button. Too many buttons. I'm trying to switch in this one. Nope. Hang on. Let's just see whether or not I can switch in another console a minute. That's what I wanted to do. Anyway, ignore that Raspberry Pi CM5. That was a previous video that we did, which is on YouTube. Okay, so switched into another console because I just wanted to show you how successful this has been. Okay, so there is the restored Epistogramma, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run a console. Yeah, I know it's a bit knackered at the moment. I need to fix it, but I just haven't got the time. Okay, so there we go. There is a pistogramma, an Ubuntu machine that has been successfully migrated to Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager. So 1 out of 5. Okay, moving on. We'll just close that and we'll have a little look at Danio. Of course, Danio, remember, was a Windows Server 2022, has to be a domain controller. Not that that should really make any difference. Just got to treat them a little bit differently. Let's click a console. And here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yay! Success. 2 out of 5. Moving on to our third virtual machine in this demo, Hotplo. Another Ubuntu virtual machine migrated from VMware vSphere ESXi. Yay! 3 out of 3. It's pretty good. Let's click OK, and next machine, Rasbora, Windows Server 2022, another domain controller. Now, I haven't actually looked at these, so I don't know whether or not we're going to get BSOD or we're just going to get a running virtual machine. So let's have a little look. Yay! 4 out of 4. Looking good. And if we finally look at Swordtail, which is an Ubuntu machine, I think it's an earlier one. I think it's 16 or 18, I think. I don't know why we keep it around, really, to be honest with you. We really need to get rid. So let's just basically just run that console session. There we go, Ubuntu 18.04.5 LTS. So there you go, 5 out of 5. So, to summarize, we've covered the essential steps here, really, to successfully migrate our virtual machines off VMware vSphere Hypervisor ESXi to Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager with ease using Veeam backup and replication. I can't believe I'm saying this. I like Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager. And of all the ones I've looked at, Proxmox, OpenShift, Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager, obviously VMware vSphere, Nutanix AHV, XCP NG, they are all really KVM based. It's the wraparound, and when I mean the wraparound, I mean the ongoing support. The pedigree are important for production. For home labs, you stick any old stuff together, really. But it's interesting, I think, to see that the biggest, certainly Proxmox, Nutanix AHV, Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager, and Red Hat OpenShift. I do actually like Red Hat OpenShift. I do like that product. I really, really do like that product. Complicated. Don't get me wrong, it's complicated, but I do like that that product as well. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me this afternoon for another video in Hancock's VMware Half Hour. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to thumbs up and like, subscribe and share for more tutorials. Leave your questions in the comments below. What you want to see in the future. I've had a few questions about, will you be doing videos of ESXi 9 or VCF 9? Time permitting, possibly. I think really questions start, I think you've got to ask yourselves, I think, how popular in the future is VMware vSphere, ESXi Hypervisor, VMware vCenter Server? How popular are they going to be in the future for the V community? Us VMware V experts that have completed the certifications for VVF, VCF will have access to those licenses. Those also that complete the certifications under VMUG Advantage Plus will also get licenses for that. nominal fee of $200 a year. But Broadcom have released ESXi 8.03e free to the community. They haven't made any decisions about whether or not that they're going to release ESXi 9. However, without the wraparound VMware vCenter server, of course, which is not free, it does limit your abilities in what you can do with ESXi in the home lab. So I still really have questions as to, is there really any value in doing videos on VMware vSphere Hypervisor ESXi 9 that are not part of the VCF, the bigger VCF 9 home lab? And I know that there are VMware vExperts out there using VMware VCF 9 in home labs. But I think now that we have a division in terms of home labs, in home labs that are used by VMware vExperts, VMUG members with certifications, or members that are certified and have a home lab, and those that don't have certifications and require a home lab. And that camp could be Proxmox. That camp could be Nutanix AHV. So am I going to change from Hancock's VMware half hour to Hancock's Nutanix half hour? Or am I going to change from Hancock's VMware half hour to Hancock's Hyper-V half hour, or Hancock's virtualization half hour? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I'm waffling and you need to get on. Again, say if you've enjoyed this video, then give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe and share. Let me know your thoughts. Where do you want this channel to go? Do you want me to carry on basically banging on the gong and doing VMware? And do you want ESXi 9 videos? Do you want VCF 9 videos? Are they going to be relevant for what you're doing in your home lab? Or do you want to look at more Proxmox stuff? Do you want to look at more Nutanix stuff? You know, both of those are available to the community. Of course, Oracle, a little bit different. Red Hat, OpenShift, a little bit different because, you know, they are subscription type products. You know, they're not really, you know, available, you know, free to the community. Anyway, so once again, thank you very much for watching these videos at Hancock's VMware half hour. If you want me to continue doing them, I'll continue doing them. But in the meantime, thank you very much, and good afternoon, and goodbye from me.